Hi, and welcome to the CryptoList interview. I'm Tom. I'm here with Łukasz from Tokenomia.pro, and I have my questions. So let's get started. So first things first, would you mind introducing our readers and watchers to yourself?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Hello, Tom. So my name is Łukasz Szymański. I'm the founder and CEO of Tokenomia.pro, which is a token engineering consulting company. We will talk probably later what exactly does it mean. So in terms of my background, I'm coming from software engineering field and managerial field, and I am like 11 years already in the industry. So I have experience of 11 years in software engineering, and where I started as a software engineer, then I've moved to the managerial roles. I was director of engineering when I've run multiple software engineering teams on top of the global products with hundreds of millions of users monthly, like for example in Olix Group. Then also I was working at Spotify. Also, I am a lecturer in terms of topics around obviously blockchain and cryptocurrencies. So I am giving lectures at different universities here in Poland. And also I'm giving at different multiple talks at many opportunities, at many events. The last one was Ethereum Community Conference in Paris. When I was talking about token engineering. You can check that out because this is public on YouTube. So yeah, you can search this one and you can find it. So that's really briefly what's my story here.
Yeah, after the interview, maybe we can send some links and we can put them on the site.
Yeah.
So our viewers can find you. So as you said before, we would touch on what you do. So could you tell us in layman's terms exactly what Tokenomia does? I mean, I noticed on the website it says the all-in-one Web3 partner. So I can obviously, being in the industry somewhat, I can kind of imagine, but if you could say it in your words.
Yeah, so the website example is maybe not the best one because it's a little bit outdated.
Okay.
We don't have time to change it, but anyway. So yeah, we started with an approach of all-in-one, where we were taking our clients from the very beginning to the very end of the whole process, meaning from the designing the whole project of taking Web2 project and translating it to the Web3 world. So for example,
an end-to-end thing.
Yeah, exactly. And from three perspectives, which is technology, economics, and law.
Okay.
And we were ending up with implementing all of these solutions at the end of the day. From some time, we are focusing on designing, simulating, and auditing crypto projects and the whole like crypto economic systems, protocol economies. There are many names to that. But in terms of example, imagine like, for example, Web3 game, which uses tokens as an in-game currency.
Sure.
So then you need a team like us in order to first of all design properly the whole system, model it, simulate. We are running many different simulations so we can anticipate different scenarios that can happen in the game. And then at the end of the day, we will be able to say to you, hey, this tokenomics, this game economics, this protocol economics is sustainable on top of the assumptions that you made as a project, on top of the scenarios that we foresee in future, for example, in terms of how many users we are planning to get, what is our budget, how our mechanics in the system will work. We are providing the results, and on top of that, we can say, is the design proper or not? So you as a project and you as a community member, investor, user, may be assured that it's not another pump and dump. It's not another project without any fundamentals. So this is what we do. Also, if you have already existing tokenomics, for example, we are doing tokenomics audits. So you can go to us.
I saw that.
You can go to us and say, hey, so we have this stuff. Check this out. Tell us what you think about it. And then we are providing you with all of the recommendations. Where are the potential places to be fixed? And of course, we are also fixing them. So this is like really, really briefly what we do.
In layman's terms.
I hope so. This is
I mean, the
this
people
is challenging
outside
part.
the industry, but the people reading our website, they should have some some idea of what you're talking about for sure.
I mean, so let me elaborate on that. So like modeling and simulations, it's nothing new. So like people and different companies are using simulation software even like for stuff like to anticipate how many people they should have in a store, like brick and mortar store, to make sure that they will serve enough of the customers and the volume will be sustainable and so on. Also, like for example, if you are planning infrastructure in the city, or maybe how many police or firefighting officers we should have at some area, then also like there are simulating systems that are trying to anticipate that and answer the question, okay, if we have a data from the past, there are such a many like activities in, for example, I don't know, fire in the forest, right, we have some data from the past. So right now we have simulate, anticipate that, and then make some data driven decision on top of, okay, how many cars we should have, where we should have all of these offices, and so on and so on. So take this approach, which is interdisciplinary approach of modeling and simulation, and now put it on the crypto projects. And this is basically what we do, which is, okay, you have decentralized finance protocol that is about lending, borrowing, lending, and this kind of stuff. Cool, let's model that. Let's model your assumptions. Let's put different scenarios that may happen. Let's simulate it and see how your system will behave, and make sure that you as a project will be safe, your customers will be safe, the funds will be safe. So this is what we do.
Funds will be safe. That's the most important thing
Yeah.
for a lot of people. So thanks for that explanation. So the company's based, and you can correct me if I'm wrong about any of this, in Poznan. As I mentioned before we started recording, I'm from England, but I'm based just outside of Krakow. Do you think Poland is a good place for a Web3 business or a crypto business? You know, in your opinion?
So I will have two answers. The first answer will be in terms of talents, yes, because in Poland we have highly skilled professionals with exceptional working ethic.
I agree.
And so for sure, if you are a project that is looking for some talents into your team, or if you are looking, for example, for some consulting and so on, yes, in Poland you have many people with practical experience that are really, really smart, that working hard, so they can definitely help you. So in these terms, yes. In terms of if you would like to, for example, set up a Web3 business in Poland, then in terms of capital available for you, like for example from funds that are located here, maybe not so much. In terms of regulations, also not really helpful. So this is like the other side of the story.
So yeah, so there's pros and cons, but overall, I would say yes. Poland is a good place for this kind of business. So just from a kind of, just to segue slightly, what does a typical day for you look like at Tokenomia?
Okay, for me then my days are crazy. I mean, yeah, like so my days, I'm a founder, so I'm basically wearing a lot of hats, and each day is totally different. Even though I'm very disciplined person and I have my whole schedule and so on, but still, we are right now 2 years officially on the market, so I'm still wearing many of hats, still trying to scale up our operations and so on. But in terms of the company itself, so, we are covering designing, modeling, simulations, auditing of the projects. So as you can hear, we have a lot on our plates, and our typical day, it's basically balancing between these topics with multiple clients. So this is the short answers. And also across the way, we are constantly trying to improve our services, improve their quality. We are running on top of standard operating procedures that we are evaluating constantly, and also constantly evaluating the market, what is needed on the market, what is not needed anymore. Also, we are trying as much as possible to share our knowledge, deliver the content. So yeah, we can put some links in the description that I can send you later, so people can also learn from our experience. How does it look like? Because we are all about sharing what we know.
Perfect. Great. Straight to the point. So what, in your opinion, are the most exciting plans in the pipeline for the next 12 months, let's say, to the end of the year, but also over the next 12 months?
Yeah, so for us, besides the stuff that I already mentioned, what we do, on top of that, we are also working on our product, and which is already there. Our product is about doing tokenomics audits on scale.
Okay.
And we are already able to share some first examples. We already audited a couple of projects that we are sharing publicly, so we can share them also with your audience as well. And the whole idea is, this is basically one of the points of our mission, because our mission is to create sustainable and trusted crypto economic systems. And we are doing it by a couple of ways. So first of all, designing these systems. So we want to make sure that we are designing really high quality systems. Then we are auditing them, right? And evaluating them as well. So the tool itself is contributing to our mission. We are rolling up the tool that is auditing automatically tokenomics of the projects at scale, to give informations to projects, to potential investors, to communities, about how we think as Tokenomia.pro, how well this project is designed in terms of tokenomics. And our scoring is based on top of many simulations that we are running this tokenomics across. So basically what we are doing is we are putting our knowledge, our know-how of how to model and simulate such systems. We are packaging it on the product, on the algorithms that are already there, and putting as an input tokenomics data. Simulations are running automatically, and then at the end of the day, we are getting the results of the tokenomics. So for the next 12 months or even till the end of the month, we are planning to still develop this tool further. We already have some promising first feedback. We for sure that the plan is to have a couple of hundred projects listed on our website, where you will have ranking with all of the tokenomics scoring and so on. Also, we are planning to expose API in both ways, which is not only reading the data about the scoring and so on and tokenomics, etc., but also that also the other way around, which is you as an API client, you will be able to trigger the simulation. So let's imagine you would like to simulate how would crypto project behave under different scenarios. And in terms of auditing, of course, we have standardized sets of demand, supply, and market scenarios, because everyone needs to be evaluated on top of the same criteria, right? So we can compare them. But what we will also give you is possibility to play around like with Lego bricks, meaning you will say, okay, I think I would like to check how it will behave if the demand will be like this, if the market situation will be like that, and if the demand will be like this. So you can play around with this, and for example, this can be used as a tool for private investors, for funds, for the project itself, to either design better tokenomics or to make a decision on top of the data to, for example, invest into the projects or not. So yeah, plenty of fun stuff ahead of us.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got a lot on your plate, on top of everything else.
Yes,
well.
That's right.
Exactly. I know the feeling. So this kind of pivots quite nicely to the next question. So aside from your own, what are some of your favorite crypto projects that exist today?
That's a tough one, because I don't want to, endorse any project, etc. But for sure, the projects that I appreciate are the ones that are taking this approach, token engineering approach. So I know that there are fundamentals there, that they're constantly working on the economic side of things, which is, for example, Ocean Protocol, Filecoin as well. By the way, the recent discussion panel that I had at Ethereum Community Conference was with I don't remember the name right now. Sorry for that. But with the guy who is leading the team behind the Filecoins project, Crypto Ecos
Okay.
Lab. So this was really interesting discussion. And so those projects that are taking this approach definitely are ones of my favorite. I'm monitoring them from time to time. So
Okay.
yeah, that's
And we've
that's
got a
kind of
review
the
of
answer.
Filecoin on our website, so
Oh,
we'll say Filecoin, but no. As you said, nothing's going to get what's the word? Promoted.
yeah, exactly.
Endorsed. So you did mention at the start some of your background, but just talking about crypto specifically, how did you get into the sector initially? And that could be professionally, it could be personally, just however you feel.
Yeah, so I got into the crypto because of my business partner, another Łukasz, and
Oh, okay.
he introduced this idea to me, and I went into the rabbit hole once I
Oh,
realized.
Lucas that I've met.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
He's always the guy who is starting all of the stuff. Like he's
Okay.
just connecting people and then figure out.
Yeah.
So that's why we work together. But we are also friends for many, many years. And he introduced to me crypto. First, what I liked is this whole idea that is aligned somehow with idea about freedom, having your own control over the assets and so on, which are
Yeah.
close to my heart. But I went into the rabbit hole like 100% when I realized the whole potential about creating totally new crypto economic systems on top of that.
Okay.
That is not possible in real world. Like you can't just normally in the system that we have, that we live in, so let's call it an analog system, to deploy many different economic systems and check how they will behave, introduce different incentives, and do many experiments around that, and so on, while still maintaining, for example, the rights to privacy,
Yeah.
to having control over your assets, etc., etc. So that was the main thing for me, and that's why also our company is handling exactly this part of the industry,
Exactly that.
which
Yeah.
is modeling and simulations of the crypto economic systems. So that was the main start. Of course, I think that I started as most of the people, which is okay. I got introduced to the idea, and I bought Bitcoin just to
Yeah. Okay.
also learn how it looks like, because the one is theory, then I just wanted to play around with it. Okay, what are wallets about, how I can control that, and so on. But then after that I was learning more and more, and I figure out about the whole potential.
What year was this when you first discovered Bitcoin? That's an off the fly question. I'm just
Yeah, I
curious.
think it was something around 2017, 18,
Okay.
something
Not
around
not
that.
not 2010 or something.
No, not such OG, let's say,
Yeah,
but
not an OG.
that's
Yeah,
that
so
was
my
the
next
year.
question was, do you trade or invest in crypto yourself? And you did kind of mention it there that you've initially bought Bitcoin, and obviously feel free not to answer this question because it's quite personal, I suppose. But
I mean, that's fine. So I don't trade. If we will define trading as an active investing and so on, not really. In terms of the portfolio, I would say the Bitcoin and Ethereum.
yeah, smart, right? That's the smartest way. Well, some people would say just Bitcoin, but yeah, I mean, there's different opinions on this.
Yeah, I know. I had this, different debates around. I mean, I don't get that. Why there is this even beef sometimes between Bitcoin maxis, ETH maxis, and so on. Those are two totally different systems serving totally different purpose,
They're
and
not they're not they're not competing, right?
yeah, exactly. And I just don't get that. Why are people even debating that? But anyway, if in my mind there is room for both of them, and
Yeah.
I do believe we should have both of them. So yeah, that's why I
Perfect.
like them.
Perfect. Um, so I guess you've answered the next question about any favorite coins or tokens. I'm guessing favorite coins are Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I'm also conscious that you don't want to endorse anything as well. But if you do have any other coins or tokens that you like, I mean, feel free to mention them.
Yeah, of course, our token, which is T-Pro.
Okay.
And this is, I think, important because we didn't found it yet, but we do believe we are really unique in global terms, because we are consulting that has their own token.
Sure.
Because this is the way basically of how we do things. We need to have practical experience. We want to face all of these practical challenges that are happening on the market in order to really feel it, because only then we are able to solve, for example, your problems if you are our customer. Like,
Yeah.
we can't talk about this stuff in theory, because we know, having our own token, how much of an impact has all of the, for example, pressure from the investors, which we need to introduce also in our modeling and simulations. We know about impact of market sentiment. We know about
Yeah.
all of this practical stuff that in theory you wouldn't never know if you wouldn't deploy your own token. So this is what we do. That's why I like it. It's a living mechanism constantly. We are planning to add new utilities on top of the tool that I mentioned. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Token will be introduced there. And also we are planning our own protocol in the future, also related to the stuff that we are doing, where of course we will introduce also our token. So this is, long story short, our way to give people exposure to the value that we are bringing to the market. So that's how we look at it.
Perfect answer. So talking about market sentiment, just in a bit more speculative conversation, when do you think the market in general will turn bullish? Next year?
I mean, I can have answer like, when BlackRock will want it, or like, other funds
ETF and stuff,
when
yeah.
they say so. But that's 50-50 joke, and not joke really. But then in terms of time, probably if you would ask me, I don't know, 6 months ago, I will tell you in 1 year. If you're asking me right now, this time frame expands, looking at what's still happening. I'm not so sure about the next year.
Okay. Just a
And
cycle.
also,
Bitcoin is a 4-year cycle, right? So maybe 2025.
yeah, depending when we will, how we define bullish, right? When it's this point. But in terms of time, I think that still the next year there will be not a lot happening.
Okay.
If yes, then maybe just steadily and slowly, like, growing. But I mean, you never know. This is like, I'm not really comfortable with these questions, because it's like, just
Yeah, of course. Everyone's guessing.
that's
Really.
just that's guesstimate. And I'm running a company that is data driven, and yeah, I don't like guesstimates.
No, it's understandable. For me, it's I'm not in that position, so I can speculate and not feel any pressure. So
But
yeah, I think I don't know, next year maybe.
I do believe it will turn bullish. That's for sure. So if you will talk about it, like, do I still believe in the market, in the crypto and so on? Yes, it will turn bullish. If it's going to turn bullish in a meaning of it's going to, let's say, have higher all-time highs than before,
Yeah,
I also believe so. Because still, if you look at this market, the whole capitalization of the market comparing to other markets, it's not so big really. It's still like,
there's room to grow for sure.
yeah, there is room to grow. And who knows when, but I believe it will eventually happen.
I mean, just leading on from that, I mean, I say in the questions, where do you see the crypto sector 5 years from now? And I guess that could mean kind of crypto is in terms of the financial side of things, but it could also mean kind of the Web3 industry, depending on how you want to take the question?
Yeah, so this is crypto sector in 5 years. So the first thing that comes to my mind is regulations, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And here, the case is, it also depends how many chances as a community we will give to regulators to regulate it even further. So if we are still going as a generic term, we as a crypto community, if we are still going to do stupid things, stupid projects, and some scams and so on, and give these reasons to regulators to look at it further and further, then it's a problem. But on the other hand, I mean, we all know, I do believe, the FTX case, which is a case directly connected with regulators in US, which
Sure.
again proves a point that centralized entities and regulators are not always successful in terms of making sure that everything is safe. Let's call it like that. I will be soft here. So this is the one point. I do believe that I've mentioned about this potential of the technology itself. The potential is there. I would like to see that this potential is leveraged, and I do believe we can expect all of the stuff regarding CBDC in whatever form. Like, let's use just this buzzword, and I do think there will be places in the world that we will have implemented it already working, which is happening already, but there is even this great website with map and so on with the status of these projects. But anyway, so besides this part of the crypto that will happen and will industrialize, let's call it like that, because it will, I would like to still see alternative system where we will still leverage the fact of decentralization and taking control over our even lives. I mean, why not? So who knows if there will be more people like us and other companies that are doing token engineering stuff. I do believe it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you touched on, a good point, really, because obviously regulation is like a double-edged sword. So it's got positives and negatives, because the more regulation you have, I suppose, the further away from genuine decentralization you become, because you've got an authority, you've got a centralized authority saying, dictating the rules, so to speak. And so for kind of the Bitcoin maximalist perspective, they're not in favor of regulation necessarily, but it's kind of a different conversation. But
yeah, that's just one comment on that from the project owner perspective, and not only mine, but different project owners and so on. So also Coinbase was a great example of it, because even if you want to run your crypto project and you are like, okay, I would like to do it 100% legit. From the day one, I want to proactively work with regulators in order to make sure that everything is set up well as they would like it to be set up, right? So let's imagine this scenario. And then from person from outside the industry, possibly these people are assuming that this should be the case. And then, I mean, nothing should go wrong, right? I mean, you want to do everything legit. Yeah, should be perfect, right? But no, it's not happening, because regulators are not even, it's not like they are not providing clear guidance, because they are not, but also they're not even talking to you. I mean, they're not answering. There are just a couple of exceptions across the whole world where regulators in specific jurisdictions, they are actually answering to you. So they are doing like active dialogue with you. And maybe 2 or 3 of them in the whole world are willing to give you official statement that what you are doing, and for example, what your token is doing and so on, is okay, is something that they approve. So I think this is also the problem. Coinbase example also showed that they were proving, hey, from the day one, we were just really trying to reach SEC, right? And you guys, what did you do? nothing, and then you just sue us. Like, I mean, that's not logical.
Yeah, no, it's tricky, and it's well in the grand scheme of things, it's still a very young it's a young industry, isn't it? It's like, so these things will iron themselves out over time, but it's a bit rocky at times. So thanks very much, and I've got one more question. What is the biggest thing? If you can just pick one thing, what's the biggest thing that as an industry we should be talking about, but we are not?
Economics audits, tokenomics audits. That's why we are doing product for that, and that's why we are doing it as a service. And let me elaborate on that why.
Sure.
Because you can see in the industry already from a couple of years that communities behind the project, or even some potential investors in the project, they are requiring from projects to show them results of security audits, of smart contracts, right? This is kind of this industry right now standard, that if you want to be legit project in the industry, you need to have at least one audit, security audit of your smart contracts, so people will know, okay, my risk of losing the funds are minimized, right?
Yeah.
Which is great. But now what's important is that we also should have an industry standard where projects are providing economics audits of their solution, because the risks for not only for investor but also for the project itself about having some vulnerabilities in your economics are this at the same severity level as your security holes in your smart contract audit. So this is why I would say we need to talk about it. We need to talk about tokenomics. We need to talk about the whole token-based system, economics around them. Like, I think Axie Infinity was a great example of that. Like, people, after everything really went dumped, they were realizing, like, hey, like, why this happened? Like, well, this is so cool game, right? It shouldn't happen, and so on. No, I mean, if someone who knew, like, who can look at the numbers and see what's happening, it was inevitable, basically.
Yeah, it was predictable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it.
That's the one main theme for me, tokenomics audits. That's why we are focusing on that, and that's why we will push also in the industry to make sure that projects are evaluated correctly, that tokenomics are transparent. The other thing, I mean, this is also something that we will put our hands on, is the fact that when you are looking for a tokenomics data of the projects, oh man, this is a journey. This is a journey. Like, if you can even find something, then it's probably scattered across many places and hidden or outdated. So basically, you never know when project is changing something, where they are changing it. Is the stuff that they are communicating to you, is it also implemented on chain or not? So, like, there are many things where the things are totally not transparent, and people need to ask about simple stuff like tokenomics on community channels, instead of just going to one source of truth and making sure, okay, this is how it is. Like, there are even some projects, like on when you go on CoinGecko, they have this tokenomics tab, and when you look there, and there are cases where this tokenomics at CoinGecko is also outdated. So this is a problem, because this is one of the main components on top of which people are also making their decisions in terms of investment.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. So, token economics. That's the answer.
Yeah.
So that's actually all the questions. So, thank you for the detailed answers, and we'll talk in a minute off recording. So I'm sure our readers will be really interested in what you have to say. We'll put links under the video and publish it on our website. We'll also be within a blog post, so there'll be some more details they can check out, including the link with you speaking at the conference too. So thanks very much. And so I'll just end the recording now.